Okay. Now, in the previous class, we used how actually we can classify the signals or you can complete the pattern if a half completed pattern is given by using half field network. So initially we can roughly guess what is the pattern, then we go for fine classification, okay, fine grained search, so that it will be able to tell which is the actual image pattern that we did in the previous class. Now we'll go to one more very important topic, that is BSB, brain state in a box neural network. It is popularly known as BSB. Okay, so what we do is, in this one, neurons are connected in the feedback fashion. Generally, in the previous classification, we connected them in one after the other. Okay, so input layer, you have hidden layer and an output layer. There was no connection in the half-field network from output to the input. But here in BSB, the neurons are connected in the feedback fashion through the weight matrix W. Okay, so anywhere you have neural connections, that will almost and always will have weight matrix. Then what happens? So because of the feedback path and the output to whatever you have got, signals keep changing. Because of the change in the signals, the weights get updated, and this process happens continuously until you will get the output is very nearly equal to whatever is expected. So once the output is very nearly equal to whatever that is expected, your weight updates will stop. So at that time, we can assume that the network is has understood and the network has been stabilized. This is a total area in between in the BSP. Okay, now how actually, what are the activation and signal functions here? So let us assume that network has an activation vector x equal to x1, x2, xn, so on, and a corresponding signal vector sk equal to x1, x2, sorry, s1, s2, so on up to sn at any instant of k. K means number of iteration. The first iteration, second iteration, third iteration. And now how your neurons are going to update? So neurons in this method are going to update xk plus 1, okay, is equal to gamma sk, okay, t, all of t means transpose, okay, gamma sk plus alpha sk into w plus delta s naught, okay, where gamma, alpha, delta are constants. Okay, delta of k plus 1 is equal to delta of x of k plus 1. So what is the next status of this network is given by substituting x of k plus 1 in the equation of delta. Now what you have is, these things are constants, assuming that gamma is equal to 1 and alpha is equal to 1 and delta is equal to 0. If delta equal to 0, this function will go. So I have only xk plus 1 is equal to gamma, that is 1 sk transpose plus alpha sk, that is alpha is 1 sk transpose into w. So if you take sk transpose common, 1 plus w. So the output of the next weight update is directly dependent on the input weight vector. Now the signal function, whatever it is used to update the weight vectors, is given by sik. It is s actually, sik, value of si in kth iteration is a function of delta of xi in the kth iteration. So that is equal to -1 when xi is less than -1. See here, I look at the plot. It is a plot of si versus xi in the kth iteration. Forget k at this moment. Let us look into si and xi. If xi is below -1, output will become -1. If xi is above +1, then it will become 1 only. If xi is in between -1 to +1, si equal to xi. That is, si is equal to xi in the kth iteration between -1 to +1. So in other limits, either it is +1 or it is -1 only. Can you tell me what actually this function is doing? Okay, any of you? What this function is doing actually? Can you tell what type of the job that is done by this network? Any of you? Between -1 to +1, si is equal to xi. If it is crosses +1, it is +1 only. If it crosses -1, it will become -1 only. What you are actually doing? Can you tell the name of this procedure? Any of you? Any of you? This procedure is essentially known as clipping. So any signal which is above +1 or -1 is get clipped to +1 and -1. So this is what is the action of clipper. Whatever we are doing is a clipper action. So we are limiting the maximum value of plus signal towards +1 and maximum value of the minus signal to the -1. So the vector should remain -1 to +1 as long as the restriction holds true. That is, within +1 to -1 only you are supposed to require this SI. Okay, now let us say how do we update the weight vector. Now the correction matrix is a symmetric matrix which implies the existence of mutually orthogonal eigenvectors. Remember, we are choosing a matrix with the eigenvectors such that n1 to nn. Don't confuse n with the learning rate. This n here indicates means eigenvector. These eigenvectors have the property that they are mutually orthogonal to each other. Each eigenvector is orthogonal to another one. Now the matrix W is completely determined by its eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Look here, given equation W is equal to summation from k equal to 1 to q. K indicates number of iteration. There are q number of neurons and q iterations are performed. Lambda k is eigenvalue, ak transpose. What is your ak? Each ai is an eigenvector of W. Okay, with eigenvalue lambda I. Suppose that I put I equal to 1. So what is the eigenvector matrix with lambda I is equal to 1? Next, lambda 2 you have another matrix, lambda 3 you have another matrix. If a matrix I have 4 eigenvalues, this you'll have 4 number of eigenvectors. So that is done for each of these iterations. Okay, so if there is a consider iteration number 1. In the iteration number, first eigenvalue is considered and the eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue is written, and then it is transport, and then you determine the weight vector. Next, k becomes 2, so second eigenvector is considered and the procedure is repeated. Like this, suppose you multiply throughout the equation by ai. So this value completely lambda k, ak transpose gets multiplied by ai. And this value entirely I'll write it as lambda I, where lambda I is a eigenvalue lambda I of this expression. So I'll write it as lambda I dA. So I is equal to 1 is to q. What the learning law says that it attempts to make the patterns in a data set. That is, whatever you are training the neural network, those corresponds to eigenvectors of the weight matrix. So how you are giving the input means those inputs to correspond to the eigenvectors of the weight matrix. Only when the network will be trained properly and number of iterations will get reduced. Once you know that number of iterations is complete and network is able to possibly predict the upcoming output, you are going to assume that the network is trained completely and stop further training. So this is the fundamental principle of BSP, brain state in a box. Okay, any doubt till now? Any doubt? Now, how do you evaluate this one? There is an entire operational summary in terms of, let's say, small algorithm. So what is given to you? A set of binary vectors a1, a2, a3 up to aq, because q number of iterations which are to be encoded. So what you are encoding, you are training the neural network so that its weights gets updated. It has to recognize the vectors. Now how do you encode? Encode this entire network into BSB using binary encoding. W is equal to summation k equal to 1 to q lambda k gk ak transpose. Lambda k is an eigenvalue and ak is a corresponding eigenvector. So what we do is set up neuron signal vectors. So you are computing neuron signals from one neuron to another neuron with a weight vector W, so that by including gamma, alpha and delta. Now how do you do that? It is an iteration process which we repeat. First, initially compute the neuron activation by the function, whatever we defined previously. Then update the neuron synchronously by sk plus 1 is equal to s of x of k plus 1. X of k plus 1 is evaluated previously. So put in this function to get me by value s of k plus 1. What is s of k? So moment you find the value. If you whatever value are found in the previous value is minus 1, then xi k is minus 1, then output is equal to minus 1. Suppose this value is minus 2, then output is equal to minus 1. If it is plus 1.5, then output will become equal to 1. If it is, let's say, 0.6, then output will be same as the input. So find the value of x of k from this equation. If it is more than 1, output value is equal to 1. If it is less than minus 1, output value is minus 1. If it is in between minus 1 to plus 1, output will become as is x of k plus 1. So how long you keep doing? So once you keep training, the successive samples will not affect your weight vectors too much. So sk and sk plus 1 will be almost equal. Once these things are equal, then you stop the training, so that you can assume that your weight vectors are sufficiently trained and they are not going to get modified in the subsequent iteration. That's what is actually the total idea behind this training. Now, okay, so any of you, okay, so okay, now consider simulated annealing, how it is achieved in BSP network. Now, simulated annealing, it is general framework for the optimization for the behavior of complex system. That is, whatever exactly annealing will do, same thing we are going to do in the neural network by exact same process system. But I will give the initial temperature and I will train the neural network, and I keep changing my weight vector such that the temperature comes down. So once the temperature comes down, this indicates the stabilization of the weight vectors, and I'll stop my training of neural network. This is the total aim in this simulated annealing. Now, before going to this one result we have to take from the statistical mechanics. So from the mechanics, a system is said to be thermal equilibrium when the configuration parameter gamma and the energy E gamma occurs with a probability P of gamma is equal to E power minus E gamma by T. Okay, T is the temperature, by summation gamma dash E power minus gamma dash by T. So this is nothing but equal to E power E minus E gamma by T divided by Z of T. Z of T is called as partition function, which acts as normalizing constant here, and the numerator is an exponentially decreasing function with reference to E gamma and T. Okay, this is the result directly taken from the mechanics. This result we use in training the neural network so as to reduce the temperature slowly until the room temperature is attained. Okay, now the numerator here E power minus E gamma by T is known as Boltzmann's factor. Okay, now how annealing is implemented in neural network. Consider a network in state 1 and state 2, so on up to state n. So initially it was state 1. After some time it gets transferred to state 2. See here, look at the arrow. Initially it was in state 1. After that it has transferred to state 2. So and then it has gone to state 3, state 4, state 5 up to state n. And similarly here, look at this one, state 2 to state 1 transition is also allowed. Similarly, state 3 to state 2 transition is also allowed. Similarly, state n to stage n minus 1 transition is also allowed. And remember, W12 is same as W21 and Wn2 is same as W2n. So either the forward way or backward way, that is neuron 1 to neuron 2 or neuron 2 to neuron 1, both will have the same weight vectors, because of which there is no change here. Now, consider a half-filled network, which were taken in the previous section. We are required to find the value of Si gamma, Sj gamma that minimizes the Lyapunov's energy. A Lyapunov's energy function, as I had told you, is a sinusoidally varying energy surface. We have many minimums. what we believe is, suppose that a ball is put at a particular point, it will settle down at a particular minimum which is immediate next to it. What are these minimums? These minimum points will represent the memory in the system. A system can have any number of memory units depending on the dimension of the system. But a local in a particular point does not necessarily mean it is an absolute or global minimum. All minimums are considered as a local minimums in the system only. Now, consider an energy function, Lyapunov energy function, E gamma is equal to minus half, summation I equal to 1 to n, summation j equal to 1 to n, wij, si to the power gamma, sj to the power gamma, where wij equal to wji, this assumption we make. And remember, one characteristic feature of half-field network, WIA is equal to 0. Okay, we assume in all the half-field network, W11, W22, W33, all of them are actually 0. Now, how do you follow the simulated annealing method? Now, first one, randomize neuron states once in the beginning and initialize the temperature to high value. Suppose that I initialize the temperature to, let's say, 500 degrees. Now, choose a neuron I randomly from the network. Let us say there were 100 neurons. One of them randomly I chose. Next, what I will do, compute the energy EA of the present configuration A. So these neurons are arranged in a particular fashion. Now I am going to find what is the energy of this configuration by suitable formula, that is in the Lyapunov's energy function. Once I find a minimum, then I will rearrange this neuron configuration. That is, flip the state of neuron I to generate a new configuration B. So whatever neuron in the fourth position, I can put it 2 or 1 or something like that. I can put it in some way such that it is going to generate a new configuration. Now what I will do, I'll once again find the energy EB of the configuration B. Because if you change the position of the neuron or weight vectors, then it is going to give you different values of the energy function. Now, the very important concept is, check whether the second energy value EB is less than the first energy value EA. Suppose this condition is satisfied, means you have found out a minimum. So earlier you had energy A, now you have EB, means EB is less than EA, means you are coming down in the graph. So if it is yes, then accept the state change for the neuron I, means whatever state change you have done for the neuron I is correct and you accept it. It may be completely opposite also. Suppose EB you have found and that EB may be more than EA also. In that circumstance, accept the state change of the neuron I, okay, with the probability e power minus delta E by J, wherein delta E is equal to EB minus EA. So it is change is accepted, but that is multiplied with the probability function e power minus EB by EA divided by T, where T is a temperature at that time. So this process is completed. Next time what I will do, I'll once again change the neuron and once again I'll compute the energy function. If it is less, then accept the change. If it is not, then again once again I'll accept the change with multiplying by a factor e power minus delta E. So how long you are going to do? So continue searching and testing and set the status several times until a thermal equilibrium is reached. How do you know that thermal equilibrium is reached? What is the meaning of equilibrium? In equilibrium, in a thermal equilibrium, temperature is not going to change too much. Now present temperature, for example, a milk is kept. Okay, a hot milk is kept. So every, let us say 5 minutes you are going to check the temperature. What is going to happen? Let us say now it is 100 degrees. After 5 minutes, it may be only 85 degrees or 89 degrees, something like that. So how long this will happen? This will not happen indefinitely. So let us say after 1 hour or 2 hours, it would have come to normal room temperature, let's say around 20 degrees. After 10 minutes, if you are going to check, temperature variation may be maximum 21 degree or 19 degree. It will not going to change too much. From 22, it will not become 15 degree. Whatever change you observed in the initially, that is not going to happen once the system reaches thermal equilibrium. Means its a temperature approximately becomes constant, so that we believe that network has reached the stable state. So once you have done this one, lower the temperature and repeat the process. So once you are set a temperature, train the neural network such that temperature is not going to change above a particular limit. Then once again train the neural network by reducing the temperature and continue. So once the change of temperature is very minimum or temperature reaches a very small value, this entire step 1 to step 7 will get repeated. So what is the change in energy? Delta E, which occurs when neuron I flips its value from Si to minus Si, means it was at one state and it goes to another state minus Si. So delta E at the state I is equal to, look at the right side first, Si into summation j equal to 1 to n, that is I1 into S1 plus Wi2 into S2, so on into Si minus of Si into this function. It is exactly like asking what is the difference between plus 4 and minus 4. How do you get minus 4 from plus 4? So plus 4 minus of minus 4, it is 8. So difference between plus 4 and minus 4 is 8 is the answer. So how do I get? It is plus 4 minus 4. This is the meaning I'm going to get 8. Okay, this is equal to, so minus of minus plus, it is 2Si summation j equal to 1 to n Wij into Sj. So 2Si j equal to 1 to n Wji, okay, Wij is equal to Wji. There is a property of this network which we told in the previous case, Sj. So this is equal to 2Sj into Xi. We'll choose it as a simpleton. I'll write it as 2Sj into Xi. Okay, any doubt here? Any doubt in the annealing process?
No, sir.
Okay, once you have reached a particular value, remember Tk plus 1 is equal to C into Tk, means present temperature is, let us say, 58 degree. What is the next temperature? Next temperature should be, let us say, 58 degree means 55, 56 or 51, something like that. What is the typical choice of annealing schedule? So Tk plus 1 is C into Tk, where C should be less than 1. And that is around, let's say, 0.8 to 0.9. So if the next temperature is 80% of the present temperature or 90% of the present temperature, so at this rate, you are reducing the temperature. So presently 90 degrees, next is 85, next is 80, next 75. Like this, in a step of 5, you are going to reduce the temperature. The initial temperature should be chosen high and maximum iteration index must be kept as much as possible. So let us say if you set the initial temperature as 500 degrees, then iterations, let us say 200 iterations, 300 iterations you have to set. For after 300 iteration, what is the temperature change that is going to observe, you are going to see. If the network is stabilized, then if you understand that network gives a stabilized value only after 100 iterations, for all subsequent iterations you can choose number of iterations as 100, and then what you are going to do is you are changing the temperature from 500 to 490 degree or 470 degree. So plus or minus 10% change you are going to give, and you are continuing this process. This is the whole idea of the annealing process. Now, how do you optimize the energy of half-wheel network? Okay, so it is a half-wheel CAM is a network which has two vectors which are encoded into 6-dimension half-wheel network. Means they are considering a 6, let's say, first stage, second stage, third stage. There are many stages of neurons with one input stage and one output stage. And using bipolar outer product encoding, means outer value, that is whatever you get in the neuron, either it is plus 1 or minus 1. This outer value of each neuron gets multiplied by the previous output of the neuron. This is used. The resulting weight matrix is calculated. Now I'll calculate. Once the probability of system being in different configurations at a particular temperature is calculated. Now what happens? So suppose the temperature initially you are chosen as 400 degrees. Next, what is the probability after 100 iteration the network will be in 350 degree, or let us say 300 degrees or 380 degree is calculated. And once you know that each probable event, let us say 400 degree is a present status, 350 is the next, 300, let us say there are 10 events, and each 10 events we have associated probability. You know, this is a probability that the event can stay at 350 degrees. Once you know the probability, we start the annealing process, which I discussed in the previous section. Next, what happens? See here, when you go for very high temperature, rate of decrease of the temperature is also high. At lower temperature, rate of decrease of the temperature is low. Agree or disagree? Understand this one? Any doubt? See here, when you are at high temperature, the rate of
No,
decrease of the temperature is high. So from 500 to 450, it will come very soon. But from 25 to 24, it will take a lot of time because it has reached the room temperature. That's what I'm saying. At the high temperatures, there are many transitions that takes from lower to higher energy. So because the energy is increased, so many objects will get the energy from lower temperature to lower energy to higher energy. As the temperature is gradually lowered, so temperature keeps coming from 500 to 450, 400, something like that, the system begins to settle into lower energy state. So the system settles from E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, something like that, to slowly it settles down to E0 until it finally settles down into one of the four attractors which have the lowest energy. Let's say E0 have lowest energy, E0 plus delta, E0 plus 2 delta, or E0 minus delta, E0 minus 2 delta. The delta is very, very small. So initial temperature of 400 to final temperature of, let's say, 25 degrees, it is going to settle. Okay, so this follows the annealing schedule. At once it achieves the final stage wherein it is constant, then there are no more changes. Okay, so now with this one, we look into how a Boltzmann machine is going to work. These machines replace the deterministic local search dynamics of Hopfield network by randomized local search dynamics. Means in the, let us say, Hopfield network, the weight increment or decrement or weight modifications are deterministic by using this separate equations. But those deterministic equations in the Hopfield networks are replaced by a sort of pseudo-random sequences in the Boltzmann machine. Before we proceed further, we'll go to similarities between these machines. The similarities are neuron status are bipolar, means either the equation will become +1 or -1. The weights are symmetric, Wij is equal to Wji, and neurons are selected at random from a synchronous update. Means you're not going to choose a neuron 1, neuron 2, neuron 3 serially. You are choosing a random neuron and going to update them, and there is no self-feedback. And this is a characteristic feature of all the Hopfield networks. There is no feedback with neuron 1 to itself. And generally feedback is not allowed in the Hopfield network only, but self-feedback is in specific, it is not allowed. Now, how actually a Boltzmann machine is different from the Hopfield network? The difference between Hopfield network and a Boltzmann machine is presence of hidden neuron of the neuron. Remember, with the Hopfield network, hidden neurons were not present. With this one, Boltzmann machine, hidden neuron is a characteristic feature, and it is architecture of this network is different from the Hopfield network. Okay, neuron update in the Hopfield network is deterministic, as I told you in the previous case, because it is governed by the equation. But here it is stochastic. It is based on the stochastic means it is based on probability. Here it is fixed. It's Wk plus 1 is equal to Wk plus 2 into x into Wi, means it will remain in the same equation in the Hopfield network. But here it is the same equation multiplied by the probability of a machine being in that state is also included. In Hopfield network, vectors are encoded in the system by using outer product correlation encoding. In Boltzmann machine, learning is implemented through complex combination of simulated annealing and gradient descent. These two are the very important process. There actually you have outer product you are taking and correlation encoding you are doing. In a Boltzmann machine, what we do, we are using simulated annealing, what we discussed in the previous section, and a gradient descent algorithm. So what you do is take a value and take the next value, compare if there is a decrement. If there is a decrement, and then you continue in that direction. If it is increment, you come back. So how long you do until the rate of decrement is very less? You assume that your weight vector encoding, whatever you are doing, is very nearly constant. That is the basic idea of gradient descent algorithm. Okay. Any doubt in this one? Are you able to follow? Are you able to follow this much?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do one
Yes,
thing.
sir.
I'll stop here so that I'll continue in the